Welcome to the Career Advice for Soaring podcast from the DLE. Listen, watch, and gain tried and tested success tips for advancing in your career, regardless of industry, position, and experience. In this episode, you'll hear from Danielle DaRos, an Emmy-award winning broadcast anchor with WPEC in West Palm Beach, Florida. For more than a decade, Danielle has ascended in her career in the broadcast industry, advancing from sports intern as an undergraduate at Syracuse University to bureau chief to live desk anchor. She offers frank advice and ready-to-apply tips for stepping outside of your comfort zone, building a professional network, and earning the respect of others in your workplace. Get ready to learn, stretch, and grow. 1. Follow what inspires you.
When I was in middle school, high school, and in college, I was a competitive public speaker. So I did the debate team, the mock trial team, and other kind of competitions that I found to be really fun. I loved doing the research. I loved writing my message, and I loved to deliver it in front of an audience. And I know public speaking is a lot of people's biggest fear, but for me, I've always found it to be super energizing and exciting, and I love that pressure. So I thought, what could be a career that kind of plays on all of these interests and passions that I have? And I've always been somebody that had the news on in my household. I grew up with the Today Show on in the background as I got ready for school every day. My family always paid attention to current events. And so I've always, in my mind, kind of viewed these women broadcasters, these news anchors, as like this authority figure, this important person to be listening to. And I always ask myself, if I can imagine myself being one thing, like what is my dream? It was being a news anchor. So I knew I wanted to pursue broadcasting, and I knew that I wanted to do stories that had an impact, stories that made a difference. So that's kind of why I wanted to get into investigative specifically. I took all of my education and training that I got at Syracuse University and then just jumped right into the industry right after college. And it's something I've been doing for how many years now? 13 years.
2. Be resilient and know your value.
Growing up, I pushed myself to be a straight A student. I pushed myself to try everything, do everything, be everything. And it felt like when you were in school, as long as you worked hard, you could get everything that you wanted, right? Like you could join any club, you could do anything. But then in the career force, you can apply for these jobs that you're like, I'm qualified for, I'd be good at that. They'd of course want me. Well, no, because you may not be what they're looking for right now. You just may not check the box that they need to check right now. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that for whatever reason, timing's not right, something's not right, and it's not personal. So that's how you learn how to deal with rejection, is understanding that in a lot of cases it's not personal, that there's nothing wrong with you, that this is not, a reflection on you all of the time. And you can try to be everything for everybody and people will still not, somebody out there will still not like you. So you just kind of have to learn to be resilient in the face of rejection and also handle really harsh criticism from the public. I mean, you can do a story and immediately with social media and with emails, immediately get negative feedback from somebody who wasn't happy with what you did. And so with people having a direct line of communication to you, you just have to learn how to have a really thick skin and know who you are and know your value and just let it go. I can get nasty emails and criticisms, and even, in the industry, people may have negative things to say about your work. As long as you know your heart is in the right place, that you worked hard, that you did everything that you needed to do, sometimes you just have to forge ahead and let some of that go. But it takes time to develop thick skin, I think.
3. Take ownership of your career.
The DLE just put me in a mentality to tackle my career and think of it in the long term and like a step-by-step progression. I think before that, I viewed a career as, maybe I land somewhere and I stay there for my whole career. And I came away from my first DLE conference thinking, oh, maybe I should take, one job here for a couple years and pick up some skills and be strategic when I choose to leave after a couple years and go somewhere else. So I had a whole new vision for a career path and what that might look like. I think it just kind of teaches you and shows you how to be a go-getter and how to just approach your career, not from a standpoint of like, this is something that's happening to me and this is my career that's like unfolding that I'm just a part of, but I'm the one in the driver's seat. Like, I'm taking my career in this direction. I'm in charge of this. Let's go.
4, grow your network.
Stay in touch with people. You know, having a network that you're able to not only just when you need them, you know, call them up, but just like keeping tabs on people and knowing what they're doing and cheering them on as their career progresses. And I think that that's such a nice thing to have. Meeting Linda, being inspired by her has been so helpful and just such a significant part of my early career. And just having somebody in my corner cheering me on, checking in, being that kind of like North Star almost of like, you know, this is a powerful and accomplished woman and the kind of woman that I want to be. I think it's so important to have those people in your life and to just stay in touch with them because it just makes you better.
5, know your limitations.
One thing that I've had to do since having my kids and being pregnant back to back, I've had 2 kids in 2 years. So what that means is you kind of just have to take it easy in some instances and know your physical limitations. And I don't want to say pull back on your career momentum, but you have to know that getting the job done is sometimes all that you can do in one day, that you don't always have it in you to go above and beyond. You just have to stay the course, keep working hard, but you don't have to be a superstar every day because sometimes you just are tired and you need a moment to catch your breath. So I've learned just how to kind of stabilize, I'll put it that way, stabilize and just keep moving without stressing so much about, overcompensating and trying to be like this superstar day in and day out.
6, stay relevant.
I think adaptability and flexibility and lifelong learning are all super important to your survival. Like the art of storytelling stays the same at its core, but the way that we tell our stories and the platforms that we're on and how we're reaching our audiences is constantly changing. When I first got a job in Bangor, fresh out of college, there were conversations in the newsroom about, should we be on Facebook and how do we have a Facebook profile and like use this as a news gathering tool? Well, now Facebook is like outdated, we don't rely on it all the time. Like we have changed to different platforms and we're in different places and we're thinking about how to reach our audiences that are not sitting down in front of the television each night to watch local news. So that's something I've learned is just, you always have to be picking up new skills and changing and growing as the industry changes and grows because it's constant.